Hello beautiful, this is Jess, and today we're going to start a two-part video, this is obviously part one, on how to avoid impulse buys at the grocery store. Raise your hand if you've ever been shopping and you look down at your cart, you're checking out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like a ghost put those Oreos in my cart, but since I'm at the checkout, I'm gonna buy them anyway. Like, obviously, I've done this so many times. I know we all have, that we are shopping and all of a sudden we see something and we have to have it. And today we're gonna start listing some tips on how to help us avoid buying those unhealthy foods, because at the end of the day, if they're not in your home, the less likely you're going to eat them. In order to stop buying impulse unhealthy foods at the grocery store, we have to keep in mind two different components. And the one we're going to be talking about today is understanding your impulse triggers. So the first trigger we're going to focus on is when you are going to the grocery store, you're buying these impulse unhealthy purchases because you're hungry. You're already hungry. The more hungry you are, it is shown in research that the more likely you are to buy more and more of those unhealthy impulse buys. The best way to avoid this trigger is to either go grocery shopping after you've eaten a meal or eat a snack before going grocery shopping. I recommend a high protein, high fiber based snack that will allow you to be fuller longer so that you aren't hungry at all when you are at the grocery store. Some examples of some higher protein, higher fiber snacks that you could eat. You could eat peanut butter on some whole grain toast. You could have Triscuits with some hummus. You could have hard-boiled eggs and Triscuits. You could have anything with beans, since beans are both high in protein and high in fiber, same with other legumes and lentils. And finally, there are different snack bars that you could have that are on the go that you could eat in the car on your way to the grocery store. So trigger number 2 is that you see something at the grocery store, and now since you've seen it, you have to have it, right? I saw that end cap of the Oreos that are on sale, and now I need to have them. I cannot stop thinking about them. I will not stop thinking about them until they're in my cart, and then they're in my bag, and then they are on my way home in my closet. The best way to avoid this trigger is to stick to the perimeter of the grocery store. The perimeter of the grocery store tends to be those whole foods, the produces, the meats, the cheeses, the milks. Those are things that are generally in the perimeter of the store, whereas the more processed foods are in the aisles in between. So to avoid seeing those impulse triggers, those foods that you might want when you see them, stick to the perimeter of the grocery store. Trigger number 3, we do associate different seasons, different moods with certain foods, different holidays, for example, turkey for Thanksgiving. So a way to avoid getting these is to really think about this. Write down those foods that you associate with different holidays that are not necessarily the healthiest for you, and then during that time of the year, don't go down that aisle. Plan your meal so that you do not need to go down aisle 10 during the fall season, because that's where the pumpkin spice cookies are. Plan everything around not being near that food so that you can start to disassociate your thoughts of that food with that specific season or holiday. So if you've tried all of these tips and you're finding you're still having impulse buys, the best advice I can give you is to try Instacart or Giant Direct, any of those food shopping services where you don't have to go to the store at all. All you have to do is either drive to the parking lot of the store or you can have it shipped to you. That prevents you from going to the store in the first place for those impulse buys. I want to know in the comments below, what was your favorite tip of today? And if you liked this video, make sure you press that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I have a tip of the week every single week, as well as easy, healthy recipes that are super delicious and that you are going to love. Beautiful, losing weight is not easy, but you're educating yourself on ways to prevent those impulse habits, which is going to be huge towards your weight loss goals. You've got this. I believe in you, and I will see you next time.